It is the Great Guitar Build-Off. Welcome to Crimson Guitars and welcome to my Great Guitar Build-Off entry into the Invitational competition. The public-facing competitions have come to an end. We know who won the various categories and there are some seriously impressive, there have been some seriously impressive builds. My build, we did a design session quite recently and my thought was to turn it into a watch-inspired build with Vertex and all of that. You guys had even more cool ideas than I did, which is actually not surprising, come to think of it. And I have now completely run out of time to put them all into action. We are going cool, laid back, beautiful. I hope. I suspect I'm going to find a way to overcomplicate myself. But you know what? That's why we're here. Burn it. Perfect! So funnily enough, this is a Jaguar shape. And this is funny because when I started this, I hadn't had an order for the carry build, which is essentially the same thing. The beautiful thing is, though, having decided that, I've already got a bunch of custom-made templates that will help. The end result as well is that we are sandwiching the whole guitar together. I'm going to have the body blank routed out all the way through and two thick sections of acrylic. And yeah, this is going to be fun. This is the template that I've been using for the carry build, but internally that's just a little bit not attractive. So my first thing to do is adjust that template, cut away some of the excess, and end up with something more attractive, because this whole thing is going to be see-through. I've got one of the now discontinued Crimson Uncut kits. I'm sorry for that. And we're going to have some fun. So that was our initial thought. Center line. I need a center line. The joint is so good I can't see it. That is all that is going to be left of the wood as it exists on the guitar. We're going to route a smaller recess into that, so the top will essentially look like that, and that is where our acrylic is going to sit, top and back. Something like that. I've built guitars with sides this thin before. The only difference is they also had backs and tops permanently glued in place. These are going to be held in with bolts, I think. Yeah. Just had might be an idea. Well, obviously that's my little recess there. Put my lip in, and then the other template goes in like so, and I just route straight down, and essentially I'll be losing a little bit more material, but I won't have to then re-glue and put a bit of veneer in the end grain. Now, talking about the strength issue here, I am considering gluing a veneer all the way around the inside of this of this blank once it's done. I will see whether that's necessary or not. Bearing in mind that the wooden part of this body is going to be painted a solid colour anyway. More on that later. I'm really rather excited. Yes, I'm aware there was no audio because I'm an idiot. Sorry. It wasn't important in any case. Come on. We've got a little bit of a gap there where the body blank is a little bit narrower than I would like. So I'm going to just customize the shape of this guitar a tad by pulling it in and putting a couple of pieces of MDF in there. Just a little bit of glue just to hold that in place. Same thing will happen with that piece a little bit later. Yeah, all right, that'll do. There we go. Let's see. Okay. All right, so what I've got going on here is when I use the big router with a larger cutter, going down deeper, the bearings are starting to catch because it's too tight. I'm used to creating a cavity that's larger than the width of the bearing cutter. This one is starting to bind up a little bit, and I'm worried about, I could probably clean it up and get it through, but I'm worried about it grabbing on both sides of the cut. So I'm going for a smaller router cutter. I'm just going to hold it very carefully on the edge because I don't have my long support. But with a smaller diameter cutter, it's essentially going deep. And I'll be able to create that cavity still using the bearing, and that'll be fine. I'm not going all the way through from the top to the back in this particular, why not? I'll hang it off the edge of the bench. I'm changing my whole method now that I'm not using that router. Alrighty. So I'm going to get rid of this whole thing in a bit so that I can go a little bit lower. And I've also just discovered something that made me actually swear out loud. And that is that I'd completely forgotten there was a cavity, and the cavity goes beneath where I want it to in here. It might even go through the side. I'm going to have to glue in an extra piece of wood. I'm very glad, very, very glad that I'm going to have, well, we're painting this. So, yeah, I'm That annoyed me when I realised that. Yeah, the top's going to go all the way in there and then be routed for the neck pocket. So I'm going to get rid of all of this as well. Okay, so I'm going to start in the hole here, go halfway around, and see what happens. Oh yes. And that's actually what we want. Ah. I have. It is official. Some regrets. This is already not going according to plan. But we've got fixes coming. And yeah, having to adjust, adapt and overcome. Adapt, adjust, overcome. It should be 3 A's. Always makes it fun. So what I've got here is a fairly chunky divot into the side and through the side. Now, as I said earlier on, it's not too much of an issue. We're going to be spraying this solid. I've got a lot of ash that's going to be cut away, and I can quite easily inset a section that will just disappear. Even the grain lines will be able to match fairly nicely. Now, the other thing is, this is horrendously wasteful. I do have a central section of wood here, but we're still going to be able to make some tool handles and bits and pieces out of that ash. This is the argument for a CNC machine. That was a couple of hours of fiddling around with a router that could have been done by, well, anybody. That could have been the very first time anybody's used a router, and it would have been fine. The CNC machine just means that you've got more time to invest in other things that actually take a little bit more skill. However, my non-guitar is coming together. Another day, and I've figured out what I'm going to do. So I'm going to cut out this section here, make that nice and flat, and glue in another piece of wood. I don't really want to have a vertical joint in there. So we'll remove this section, cut it nice and flat, glue another piece in. Then when that's done, where this vertical joint is outside, where we're going to just cut away and get rid of it, I will then plane that flat or cut that flat with a chisel and glue in another piece, and then essentially you've got two joints that will disappear in the grain and would, even if we were going to be leaving this natural, basically be invisible. So that should do. Okay, so you go in there, you'll go all the way across there, and I won't have any end grain. Nice. This bench is a little bit wobbly. I'm screwing it to the floor. Finally. New Triton drill too. Yeah, excited about that. Aha, stable. So remember that the only actual gluing surface that matters is from this area up. All of this is going to be cut away in the end. Okay, so that holds it from slipping sideways. There we go. Yes, I'm using as many different saws as I possibly can today. Which I regret because this one's blunt. Back to the Japanese one then. Ta-da! So I'm running the back end of the plane on this section that's already roughly where I want it to be, and I'm slowly bringing it forward and level. There we go, so it's going to go over there and look beautiful. These clamps are cool as. pencil line, by the way. I need to cut away some of the excess to make the routing a little bit quicker and easier. I could either use a saw and do that, or force a bit and remove the waste. I'm going to, well, start with a saw and see where I end up. Perfect. Okay, I don't want to drop that. It's not as delicate as it looks. I wouldn't want to drop it, but you know, I think we're fine here. Very lightweight, very cool looking, and essentially this is what we're after. It's going to be as transparent as I can make it. Now, we've got several things to bear in mind. I want to... Okay, so the acrylic is going to be sitting above the top of what used to be, or above what used to be the top of the guitar. So the break angle, which was for a flat, traditional Strat style flat bridge, it's going to be wrong even for that. And then on top of that, I'm probably going to end up putting a some sort of a tune-o-matic, probably, on the top. So I'm going to have to raise the neck up and also sort out an angle. So that's going to have to be in like that. I'm going to put a piece of acrylic between the base of the neck and the bottom of the neck pocket in order to achieve that. And that's going to be fine. The repairs and messing around in here, that's worked absolutely fine. It's not invisible because of the grain direction, but once we've got the paint on here, it's going to be absolutely fine. I'm changing my mind from 1 minute to the next on what I want to paint this. Anyway, this is the end of this episode. Next time I'm going to be beveling the edges of the body. I'm going to be finalizing the thickness. I need to... I actually quite like the fact that the back is recessed in a bit more. We'll see. I'm going to thickness that down a little bit, I think. We're going to cut out the top and the back. We're going to have this in the spray booth at the very least. And I need to start thinking about headstock shape as well. It is going to be an awesome build. And please do not forget, this is for Great Guitar Build Off. This is my invitational entry, and you can own this guitar. Go to greatguitargiveaway.com, where there is a prize draw giveaway raising money for Great Guitar Build Off and all of the charitable good stuff that we do there. Yeah. Also, this is the prototype. This is the first of 2 Vertex watch inspired builds. I've already got ideas for the next one. Lots of CNC and laser. CNCs and lasers and sharks. No, just the lasers and CNC.